Alone, abandoned, a difficult path ahead. This is Jacob, a promising yet socially awkward teenager on Rimworld, a lone colonist out to fight for himself and become a founder of a great colony and leave a lasting impression upon this world. And if you want the option to play as a child and grow your own family on Rimworld, Rimworld Biotech has literally just come out as of recording about a week ago. It adds loads of really cool stuff alongside mechs and, as I said, family stuff, so make sure you go and pick it up. It's definitely worth your while. But in this video, we're going to see how truly difficult it is to live out in the wild as a teenager, and the difficulty we are going to be going for this video is Cassandra Classic and with the adventure story option. Poor Jacob. Now, before we do go to the gameplay, I am using some mods for the game, all of which will be displayed on screen now and will also be in the description. Our first initial challenge was to find somewhere to set ourselves up, ideally somewhere easy to defend, cliffs and mountains cutting off any possible routes to our little hideout. Thankfully, we found ourselves an enclosed area. We immediately set ourselves up with a not so nice room. Sorry, Jacob, don't you worry. This will get better in the future. Okay, so now that we've got our little house, if you want to call it that, all set up, the next sort of thing that we do need to focus on is obviously a food source and our security, because I'm not sure on the threats around this world. I'm not too sure. Well, let's be honest, we're a child, so probably anything can kill us at this point, so security and defense is definitely at the top of our priority. So what we're going to do initially is just get a few spike traps, and we're just going to block them with some walls. And what we'll do as well is we'll just put a door here just so Jacob doesn't kill himself on the traps, because that will be a huge disaster initially. Not even 10 minutes into the save and he kills himself because of a trap. It won't be a good start, Jacob. Won't be a good start. And we're also going to set ourselves up with some farming. So we're just going to do 3x10 tiled soil. This won't be, if you're playing the vanilla game, this won't be available. This is a mod that is installed that will be available on Steam and also in the description. I didn't make it. I'm not smart enough for that. So make sure you go and download it. It does make farming that little bit easier. So we're just going to have probably rice and potatoes for now, and then as we advance, if we advance, we can get a little bit more extravagant with the foods that we are going to try and grow. The initial first few days, not too much happened. We were primarily focusing on getting ourselves set up for success, and that did mean essentially waiting it out and getting our defenses built out with wooden walls and getting them traps set up as well. We did get a few events here and there, nothing absolutely massive. We got a few visitors who wasn't apparently selling. He was selling absolutely nothing. It was absolutely useless. However, we did eventually get our first raid of this adventure. Hiroki, an enemy drifter of the DK lineup, decided to try and loot our not even settlement. It's literally just a small little house. A cardboard box would be more useful, but he thinks it's worthwhile enough for him to try and loot us and kill us. But he does end up trying to battle against one of our visitors, which helps our situation massively. Eventually, he does hit one of our traps, and now we have a decision to make. Right then, so this is Hiroki Vulcanate, absolutely fantastic name. He is down, he's bleeding out in 6 hours, and I'm thinking we're at a point where, I mean, it's just us. We want to build up our little dynasty and colony, and here's Hiroki going to be our first, fingers crossed, our second colonist. I'm looking at his stats: 9 shooting, mining. He's not a great construction worker or a plant grower. He's not great in them, but I'm just thinking an extra pair of hands would be really, really useful. So I think we are going to try and save Hiroki here. Now, the problem we do have is that we don't have an enclosed area. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to put him in our room, because if he rebels and kills us, that just won't be brilliant. So we are going to enclose this area, and we're going to see if we can save Hiroki. On another note, our cat died. A mad guinea pig tried to attack us. Our cat saved us. I didn't save the cat, and he unfortunately died. So let's see if we can save Hiroki here. If we can, it'll be great. If not, I wouldn't be entirely bummed out, but we are I mean, we definitely could use an extra pair of hands around here. So then, we have managed to stabilise Hiroki here. He has still got life-threatening blood loss. But I do think we are going to try and save him. Primarily because even if he's absolutely atrocious, looking at his bio, he has got Slowpoke, which isn't brilliant, but it's better than nothing. And if he is absolutely useless, we can just use him as cannon fodder. As brutal as it may sound, Hiroki, you're either going to be fantastic or you're going to be thrown to the wolves. Quite literally in Rimworld, thrown to the wolves and torn apart. Right then, well, that hasn't gone particularly brilliantly. Hiroki has died. Why? Well, I forgot to feed him. Which, I'm going to use the excuse that because Jacob is a child, you know, he forgot. So, we're not recruiting Hiroki, but we are going to keep him in this little area just because I don't know if Jacob, can pick him up. So, we're just going to leave him here and to rot, and then eventually we'll put his head on a spike, as you do. Typical Rimworld things, everyone.
Much later.
So about a week and a half after we settled down on this planet, and we've made some pretty good progress. We've got a little bit of a defense going on. We've created a little bit of a growth zone. We're initially going to start off with rice, and then once we either get better at growing and at planting, we will get some more growing going on, probably potatoes, something like that, just to increase our food intake. And if we have a look at Jacob, he has made some significant progress since he initially landed on this. His plants and his construction have absolutely flew up. His medical's gone up quite a lot as well, which is quite nice to see. But we do need to eventually get someone that can sort of balance out Jacob's weaknesses, primarily the likes of the fact that he cannot research, he's socially awkward, and he's not a great miner or a combatant either. So we are going to have to find someone. But I think our next little project that we are going to do is we're going to try and make Jacob's life and environment a little bit more pleasant. So we're probably going to build out a little bit, probably into this area here, just in front of the the traps, and try and get it all built up quite nice. Probably going to build a little bit of a living room and probably some sort of like recreation room as well. He is learning starved. I'm going to be honest, as a newbie to biotech, I'm not entirely sure how to get rid of that. I'd assume by learning, but I think I need an adult, so which we don't have. And as you can see, he's got an awful bedroom, 8 without table, and he is uncomfortable. So we are going to focus on trying to get rid of them, probably build some sort of room for all of our goods as well, so they're not just scattered everywhere in Jacob's bedroom. I tell you what, if a parent ever came to Jacob and said, clean your room, most children don't have an excuse, but Jacob does. His reasoning is that he literally just has nowhere else to store it, and he's been carrying dead bodies. You know, Jacob's going through it all at the moment, so no one can tell him off. If anything, everyone should be proud of him. This is what our expansion is going to look like. Nothing special, but it's definitely going to add to Jacob's comfortability. So we are going to have a little eating, dining area and a recreation room here. We are going to have our stockpile zone. We don't need it too big at the moment. Eventually, we're probably going to have to expand it towards the edge of our base. We're going to keep our dead body stockpile, and we're going to just have a few corridors just to make sure our safety is pretty much guaranteed for now. Now, eventually, I would like to build into this sort of corridor in the mountain in terms of traps and other security upgrades, whether we do a type of zigzag formation, just to... Obviously, if we have any large raids right now, we are in a little bit of trouble, so that's probably going to have to be pretty soon. But I think the next thing we are going to focus on is getting a freezer set up and some sort of food stockpile, because our rice is pretty close to being done, 36%. Rice grows pretty quickly. I'll probably have the kitchen around here and probably just a little stockpile of food just on the left hand side, so it doesn't take Jacob absolutely forever to cook his meals. Now, we are okay in the food front. We have got 32 survival meals, which will last us quite a while, and we have got obviously the likes of apples and berries to survive if we are absolutely desperate. So what we're going to do, we're going to let Jacob build all this, and we're going to see what Rimworld has to throw at us when this is complete. Okay, so this is interesting. So we have got a quest which we can potentially accept, and it's basically offering us someone called Kitten, a desperate refugee. She's going to stay, he or she is going to stay with us for 8 days, and she offers to work and fight for free. Now, the only downside to a quest like this is that we don't actually know what her intentions are. So it could be that she wants to betray us and she steals all of our stuff, or she eventually joins us. Now, this is a hard one because obviously we're by ourselves. Depending on how good Kitten is, it could be a disaster. But I think we're going to risk it. I think an extra pair of hands, as I said, will be massively useful. And as long as I might get them a separate bedroom, actually, and maybe try and isolate them both for now until we see what the situation is. So we're going to accept it. So this is Kitten, and he is very, very promising. He's got fantastic plant work construction. I'll tell you what, if we were going to get someone, Kitten is perfect because he's pretty good at the most important things nowadays, which is construction and plants. So we have got ourselves a new colonist, hopefully permanently, depending on how we treat them. Lauren Kitten Darkmoor, medieval slave, 15 years old. Is she a child? I don't know if she's a child or not. I mean, 15 is a child, but I don't know in Rimworld type age if that is a child. So, but we have two colonists now. Let's see how this goes. We're going to finish off our expansion, and we're going to see where we end up. An important moment in our adventure. We get to name the faction and our settlement name. So we do decide to randomize the faction name, and we do eventually go with Raystan, and our settlement is going to be called Alturus, primarily because they're both easy to say and my pronunciations are absolutely horrendous. So this is the start of Alturus. Mark it in your books, the history books, everything. Alturus is going to become a great settlement. Oh yes. Welcome to the colony, Kitten. You've got your own room, which is probably better than Jacob's. Do not let me down. Don't betray us or you'll regret it. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pretty nice start for Jacob and his new companion Kitten. And we have got ourselves set up where Jacob is now going to make his first ever meal. Sustainability is the goal, and we have got ourselves our first ever meal. So I'll give you a quick tour around the place since you were last here literally a few seconds ago. We've expanded quite a bit. We've got a little bit of a food stockpile over here. We've got a little stove as well, and we got ourselves a bit of a power as well. Now the problem I had is that all of my steel and components got destroyed, so it didn't go well in our initial setup. It got destroyed because I forgot about them once again. So we did have to mine from this little steel deposit just on the left-hand side. I'm not too sure what this room will be. If you have any ideas, feel free to pop it into the comments below. But we are having a pretty nice start, and I think we're going to bring this video to an end here. Part 1 of Jacob's story comes to an end. So if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and any recommendations you do have, make sure to put it in the comment section below. So from myself, Jacob, and Kitten, it's goodbye for now.